There we go. Outstanding. I think we're live. I hope we're live. If not, oh well, and I'm just talking to dead space. It says live on the screen. My name is Matt Storms. Thank you for joining us again on Helpdesk Hangouts this week. We're going to be talking about awesome things that we're doing or others are doing or cool things like that. We're not going to be talking about negative stuff. If you want to talk about negative stuff or negative things that Google is doing to you and your site, there's other Hangouts, other forums for that. I will be glad to help you find those if you want to contact me. But there's other places for that. So here we're going to talk about cool things. If we go an hour, we go an hour. If we go 10 minutes, we go 10 minutes. We're not going to try to stretch it and push it. We just want to talk about cool things that people are doing or cool things that people are seeing. My name is Matt Storms, as I said. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody else. We'll go ahead with the first person, which will be Kevin.
Hi, my name is Kevin Mullett. I'm Director of Visibility and Social Media for MarketSnare, and I help people with visibility for companies that have tens to thousands of locations.
Outstanding. William.
William Rock, Internet Marketing Specialist, all the above, just a geek on the show today. Welcome back, everybody.
Outstanding. And last but not least, Wissam.
I'm Duncan out of Daytona Beach, Florida, and I am an international SEO consultant and co-founder of GrowthPage.
International SEO consultant. How many different languages do you speak, Wissam?
3.
Which ones?
Arabic, French, and English.
Arabic, French. Which version of Arabic?
Oh, the Lebanese. Well,
Lebanese.
Lebanese dialect, yeah.
Lebanese dialect. I know. There's a lot of them over there.
Yeah. Actually,
yeah, it's not as many as there is in the Philippines. I think in the Philippines there's about 80. So
yeah.
it's not.
Go to India.
In India, yes, many in India. So if you're ever going to do SEO international and you go into the Philippines or India or even China, get ready to hate yourself because you're going to have a really rough day. International doing that there was very difficult for me when I did it, and it was very, very hard. So anyways, let's talk about new things that anybody's doing. I'll tell you right now that I'm working on, and this is a problem that I'm having, and maybe you guys could maybe give some insight to it. So say you are, and if you guys have questions, feel free to throw those in there as well. So I'm working on a company right now. It is quite unique. I'm not going to divulge the name of the company, but basically they have their core A company, and they have a smaller B, and they're rolling the B into A. Okay, it's pretty easy to understand on that. And B has about 5,000 pages, and they're going to redirect all of those into A. But those 5,000 have to be redirected into about 30 pages. So that is one issue on there. And then when everything comes into play, is come to find out that the guy who was working on B only has control of about 3 pages that he can actually edit or create or things like that. It is a quandary. It is a difficult issue, but at the same time, I think it's a unique one in the aspect of what do you do when you have a client that is like that. I will give what I want to do, and what I want to do is say, I want access to more pages. I want access to the CMS system for A to do more. I'm working on getting that. What would you guys do in that instance if that was you?
I'm trying to find the guy who have the decision making that will provide me access to A and B. Green light for both of them, and they have to believe in that move. They have to believe, and if they're doing it, they have to put all bets in. And it's just waste of time if you start it like that.
I would have more of a question, Matt. How are you tracking the progress of the moves of one page to the other with a 301 redirect, and how are you managing that through an Excel spreadsheet, or how do you know when that amount of bulk URLs are moved properly, and are you also removing from A when you're putting on B?
So, good question. So, this is one of the things that I like to do with a rewrite rule. And let me know if any of you guys have ever thought about doing this or you have done this. So say you have a large amount of redirects to do. So put in your mind, we'll just say 5,000. Now, you know that all of those links are not going to be clicked on all the time. You know, some pages might be getting, 50 clicks a day, and some pages might be getting, 50 clicks a year. Okay, and some of them might be getting 1 click every year. So one of the things that I like to do to reduce the bloat in my HTA access file is I do a rule that if a rewrite is not fired for 6 months, that I kill the redirect. Because my mindset, and I know some people go, no, 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 no. Now on some pages, yeah, if you can detect that there's a ton of links to those pages and there's lots of value to them, keep those rewrites alive. But for pages that there's not a lot of there's not a lot of links to, and you can track those using Google Webmaster Tools, Ahrefs, Majestic, great tools. When you don't see those redirects coming into play, then if you remove it, you reduce the bloat in your htaccess file. Because I looked at one htaccess file for a company I worked on last year, and they had over 30,000 redirects in their htaccess file. Wassam's shaking his head like, no, and it bloats, right? I mean, Wassam, have you seen massive degradation in time in loading because of that?
Absolutely.
They have so many.
Because it's every time a client requests a page, the server have to go through the whole line of the htaccess file and see, okay, none of these lines have not fired, so okay, provide them with that page. Definitely not the right way of doing it. The best way of doing it is on the server level.
Yeah, on the server level.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other thing that I think of when you say that, Matt, is that's almost part and parcel with doing regular audits on your content anyway. And to me, that makes, it's part of saying, look, these pages are not providing value. They had no value that I was redirecting in the first place. So they're probably going to be considered thin, low authority, low value pages to Google anyway. And so it probably will help you more than just on a server level to get rid of those as well.
Yeah, good point. What if you can actually do, and hopefully a programmer on this show will actually know how to do this, but what if you did a bulk upload like you were talking about, or bulk spreadsheet of 301 redirects, but you were calling your Google Analytics data, like your bounce rate, how much traffic is actually coming to that page, and then having a sorting capability where you can do a priority level. So then you can go 301 redirect priority level, these are my dead ones, here's my good ones, and then you know where to start with versus just basically saying, okay, I'm going to start with every, 10,000 links and then 10,000 pages and another 10,000 pages. How do I sort by priority? And that would be cool to be able to see that pulled into a spreadsheet from API.
That's a good idea. I think one of the ways I like to do it is and sorry, Kevin, if I'm stepping on your toes. One of the ways I like to do it is I like to see how many visits are to the individual pages. And so if I see obviously usually homepage has a high amount of traffic and then, pages subsequent from there. And then I say, okay, well, kick out the homepage and then look at all the pages below that. And if I have other pages below that are high quality, high value, that are getting traffic, well, I know that those are my high ones those are my, I need to watch out for those. I need to protect those core pages. But pages that I know that get like 0 or 1 per year type thing, those are the pages I'm just going to 301 and pretty much ignore and Wassam, go ahead and talk. Wassam typed in the chat HTTPD. Go ahead and talk about that.
I mean, HTTPD is basically you can put your redirects over there and it's only red ones, so that can minimize your, what they call it, the bloat you're putting on Apache, because with htaccess, if you have a large file, it's going to take time. With using HTTPD on the server level, it's going to read it only once, and that's it. It minimizes. I mean, this is where when you have like 3,000. I mean, you have like 5,000. Yeah, I would go definitely HTTPD.
And Wissam or William, you typed in there, an interesting query. Why don't you talk about that for a minute to everybody?
Well, for example, like a
Talk
manufacturer.
about what you typed. You said
I just use
those are 301 to a 404.
301 to a 404. The reason I said that is because if you're getting those low quality signals, and it's basically dead pages that are basically low quality signal, low end, just 301 to a 404. That's a custom 404 though. If it's basically like a PDF that's basically changed to a directory, show them how to get to that PDF still, but it's a custom 404 that it's still going to error out, which is normal, right? It's going to 404, but then point them in the direction, suggest to them opportunities to get their next level, and you can still hold that traffic that's coming from a link referral that may have been for that manufacturer and says, okay, here's the PDF for the spec sheet, but that spec sheet's deleted, because maybe they've gone through a migration. Maybe they've upgraded their server and everything else, and one directory was just kind of like deleted, and wow, that they moved that directory over to a different one. All of those are dead links, and now you have all those 301s that you have to pay attention to. So that's something that's on my plate where I'm trying to figure out the best practice for that, and that's why I brought up the 301 to a 404.
Well, and I think people should be aware is that when we say 301 to a 404, that still is going to provide the correct status code for a 404 so that Google knows. And then, if there is no value, because obviously you have the option of a 301 to a page that has value that is similar because you're narrowing the funnel down or you're getting rid of extra pages. There's the 301 to a 404, a custom 404, which provides value because it's maybe part of a navigational query, and so it still renders, but it actually sends the 404 status so that Google knows not to continue to show that link, but it's maybe in print or someplace else. And then, of course, 301 or a 410 status code, which just tells Google, look, this no longer has value. We don't even want to talk about it anymore. Just rip it out of there. We're done with it. We have no page to forward it to because our business model has changed or our products have so significantly changed.
Okay. And then one of the other things, one of the things I care about a lot now these days for some reason is just reducing bloat. It might be on a page, it might be on a server, it might be a sitemap, and things like that. And how often do you guys think about that stuff?
It depends on obviously the size of a site. Like we don't deal with a lot of sites that have, say, for example, the 50,000 limit on sitemap. Links. So we don't have to worry about concatenating a lot of sitemaps very often. But obviously, if we have somebody come in that
I need to come work
does,
with you because that's all I deal with.
we're kind of lucky in that we're dealing with lots of websites, not lots of pages per website, and so it might be 100 to thousands of websites, but each of those doesn't have 50,000 pages on them. So that affords us a little bit different of a scenario than what you would have to deal with, Matt, or what some other people have to.
So let's talk about this. So for your normal, average, everyday mommy blogger or small business, because basically I look at a mommy blogger or a small business, unless there might be an e-com. They might be just a publishing type website, but they're all usually pretty small. They have less than 30,000 pages. And you can be anywhere between 50 to 30,000 pages, and I consider you small. But you might have a lot of revenue if you're an e-com, so you might be making $100 million and only have 200 pages on your site, which I've come across companies like that. Because they're an information-based website or something like that, or they'll sell just a few products. So that being said, is one of the things that I always worry about with any site is when developers, for some reason, have an inherent desire to use a redirect known as a 302 redirect. It comes into play a lot. How do you guys prevent developers using a 302 redirects and to educate them not to? It happens naturally without telling them no. Developers will just do it, or it's part of the programming language that it just naturally happens.
Yeah, so for example, .NET defaults, the older .NET defaults to 302.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm kind of, well, I'd like to pretend I'm uniquely qualified to speak on this, in that it doesn't matter as much as we sometimes tend to like to think it does. Now, I'll defend that by saying, first of all, you want to avoid it if you can, because you should never willfully do it, okay? But number two is Google has, and I've confirmed this with John Mueller and Gary Iles, that they pretty much get it anymore, that .NET had this, and that there are circumstances where if it's marked as a 302, but it's clearly not temporary anymore, they're just going to treat it as a 301 anyway. What you will see, because we had some legacy sites built on our platform that had the 302 by default, what you will see happen is your initial onboarding process, when you turn the site live, there will be some confusion into the canonical if you don't have the canonical set. Once that is passed, it will work itself out. We have tons of clients that are #1 for hotly contested key terms. They're fine for that. So yes, it's not preferred. You don't want to do it. It is the wrong status code to deliver, but it is not the smoking gun. It is not going to prevent you from being able to rank #1.
Yeah, I remember at SMX West, Dwayne Forrester, people asked him that question. He said, after 6 times of hitting a 302, we treat it as a 301. We just ignore it.
Yep.
Which is a good thing. I don't know how long Google treats a 302 to, basically say it's a 301. I personally look at it as 302. It's, a lot of sites use them, but I look at it as a sloppy redirect. And that's the way I kind of look at it. It's just a trashy one.
If it's not done because that was default .NET handler, then I'd absolutely agree with you. What the people who code in .NET will know is that you have to willfully go in there and change it, and if you have legacy systems, it can cause some additional programming and some issues. But by and large, it shouldn't have ever been done that way, don't get me wrong. But the one thing I want to make sure people understand is that it will not prevent you from ranking and from converting business and so forth. It's not ideal. Don't do it on purpose, but it won't prevent you from ranking.
Yeah, it won't prevent you from ranking. Just crap quality content will. Yeah, I saw a site the other day or a page on the site that I'm working on that literally had a sentence with 10 words, and then they had a lead gen form. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really a quality page, guys. We need to, either we need to trash this or we need to fix it, because fixing it is going to help you get more leads, and leads is going to make you more revenue, and revenue is awesome.
Well, and let's face it, I think that Google's continuous play, a la Matt Cutts, no offense to Matt, but the constant just right good content was overstated as well. If you're not doing search engine optimization, then your good quality content will not be seen by everybody it possibly could. That being said, poor quality content certainly isn't going to be rewarded, and that takes effort. And the problem is that we have a lot of businesses that want to not put in the effort. They're looking for the silver bullet, and that's just or what they call the easy way. And the problem is that so many businesses spend a lot of effort and money on the easy way instead of just doing it the right way, which would produce better results anyway.
Yeah, and keeping on that note and keeping it positive, we hear so many companies these days talk about marketing automation, SEO automation. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing to automate the process? I would love to get your guys' feedback. Wassam, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, who did the automation? I mean, who set up the rules? Who set up the requirements? All that stuff. I mean, I would say to a certain extent, certain stuff, yeah, it should be kind of automated, but some tasks require judgment. I mean, not all sites are created equal. So you might have specific cases, specific history for specific website that you can't automate it. So I would go, probably 1/4 automated, or even go as if you go wide about half. But other than that, no.
Okay. William?
I love automation. I love automation, but not through SEO. I like automation for simplifying my reporting opportunities, so I can get quicker information and then be able to react faster. But as far as like automating, something on page or through social, or manipulating any way of buying traffic, that's something that it doesn't live long, especially with machine learning algorithms. It just automatically detects that, and so yeah, there's a lot of tools in the past that people relied on, but the more they relied on, the more that they got attention from Google in a negative way, or even Microsoft or Yahoo, for that matter.
I tend to look at it a little bit differently. I talk about this quite a bit with the social part. Automation and scheduling are not the same thing. Both require management and listening. So, automation in its truest form typically means that you've allowed something to occur without knowing what the outcome is going to be. So you hooked up your Twitter account to an RSS feed, and while that RSS feed is generally trusted, you have not reviewed the content coming from that and approved it for your audience. So the same thing is true if you're automating content into your blog. You take the risk because you have not selected that piece of content for your audience that it is not going to be right for your audience or quality. Scheduling things, on the other hand, is where you've said, I've looked at it, I've reviewed it, it's proper for my audience, just not right at this exact moment. So I'm going to postpone it until it will benefit both my audience or myself best. And so I tend to look at those differently.
Cool. All right. I would love to know what you guys are working on right now, maybe this week. The other people should be thinking about and working on. And it could be stuff you've already talked about in the past, but I would love to hear what you guys are working on. And we'll go, Baruch, I'll skip you this time. I'll come back to you at the end because I know you're listening. And you can tell us what you're working on this week. And remember, we're keeping it positive, so all that good mojo. So, Kevin, you want to go first? What are you working on this week?
We don't do a lot with PPC. We generally outsource that so that we stay focused on what we're doing. But I'm having to brush up my game because of recent changes to the PPC world, and just to facilitate better communication with our PPC brethren that we're trying to help out and work with. And so, just kind of brushing up on that. So nothing really specific to talk about. Just diving in and taking a look at stuff and reminding ourselves how we can help our client and them.
Cool. William.
Wow, a lot of different things. I'm trying to figure out more of a Google Flux with basically what happened during the entire segmentation of May, so that I can actually report upon like eBay and Forbes with my normal Panda Flux. So what I'm trying to do is work with SEMrush to actually identify a small segment of data for me, and then so I can graph it out a little easier and identify the drops in ranking per keyword, as well as the influx of ranking per keyword.
All right, Wissam.
This week, I think most of my time was actually spent on building requirements. That's about it.
Building requirements for what?
For growth gauge.
Oh, for your company. Awesome. All right, setting forecasts in there, huh?
Exactly.
I've never been good at doing forecasting models. I do not enjoy them. Anybody who can do them well, I salute you, because yeah, it's
Not easy.
yeah, it's not easy to do to be able to forecast correctly and do modeling of businesses. Even if you're the owner or an SEO or
Actually, it was like more about building requirements for the software. So.
oh yeah, okay, awesome. And Baruch, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you were working on this week?
Everything like apps and mobile, some critical stuff. So lots of things going on.
Okay, what was the coolest thing you worked on this week?
A Wikipedia article.
Oh, okay, for your company?
No, for a client.
Nice, nice. It's interesting how I did a Wikipedia article, and just, man, it got rejected, it got rejected, it got rejected.
Yeah, that's because, I mean, just like you being, it's the same concept, like you know, you being a contributor, you got to put the time in there.
Yeah, you do.
But the coolest stuff, he was happy because within the 4th day, boom, it's on the first page, like number 3. He was happy with the 3rd result.
Nice. I will keep you in mind for people who come to me for Wikipedia help.
That's it.
I will send them directly to you because I've come to the point now where I've probably done like 20 edits.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Right on. Yeah.
You got to be doing we got to be doing 10 a day.
Exactly. Just like a contributor, you got to put the time in.
Yep.
And I think, again, that goes back to the point we were talking about is that people have to put the time in. If you want to lose weight, you have to change your behavior, and you have to do things. If you want to,
sorry, Jenny Craig. That's just a temporary thing. There is no Jenny.
And if you want to be good on Quora, you got to put in the time on Quora. If you want to be good with LinkedIn, you got to put in the time there. Wherever you're going to try and then there are some that have higher gatekeeping. So take it like Reddit. There's some people that really kill it with Reddit and stuff, but they are ingrained in that world.
Well, what I like the most is how Freebase is transitioning into Wikipedia, and so Wikipedia will be one. That's happening soon. How they're going to merge everything from Freebase to Wikipedia, and then let Wikipedia do its own thing.
So yeah, is that correct? Because I read about that a few weeks ago that all of the data from Freebase was all moving over to Wikipedia.
Yeah, this summer.
Okay, so theoretically then, because I have, if you go and search Matt Storms in the window, and my picture shows up, it has a link to my LinkedIn profile, has that little logo on there, has my full name, my parents.
You'll be able to edit it for a short period of time, but once they merge, it's over. You won't be able to edit that no longer. You'll have to physical page.
Yeah, so will it automatically create a Wikipedia page for me?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Maybe next week, Baruch, if you want to talk about Wikipedia for SEO, I think that would be a great thing.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and Baruch, is there any forums or great places to go and look for what's happening in that currently?
Start editing and start doing, just build a page after page and help around and volunteer and so on, and attend the Wikipedia summits in Europe and so on.
Now, I mean, is there any are you part of any groups or forums? Like you have the web? Yeah. Okay.
Well, we have our own thing going on, right? I don't know the last time anybody here used IRC.
Yes.
No.
So, we still got to do the old school because you got to follow the other groups. They're still old school, right? They don't like the, I don't want to say, I don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't like the new modern stuff. A lot of people still, are very old school, believe it or not. I met a guy.
That's the best part about Wikipedia. It looks so old school. that, you know, it's just so much easier. But at the same time, like editing a document, man, I'm like, come on, just put a WYSIWYG box in this.
Have you met anybody recently that still has Windows 95? Okay.
I know one
Windows
person.
95, I probably have it, but I haven't used it forever.
I'm like, sir, you have to upgrade it.
Yeah, but that's Wikipedia. They need a WYSIWYG box. If they had WYSIWYG box, they'd get a lot more editors, I think.
That's it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then everything else that's, you know, Google fitting to. I mean, I'm watching the Panda. Sorry to go off topic, but
No, we're not talking negative.
no. Absolutely. Just on the fun side, like Panda. I mean, the algo. I'm just things are good. I don't see anything like John was saying. It's true what he was saying.
Well, does anybody have any SEO questions that they're dealing with this week? All right. Well, if nobody's got any SEO questions, my rule at the Hangout is that I'm not going to keep stretching things to keep moving things along, because I think that's a waste of other people's time. And therefore, I hope all of you guys have put in your, for those who are going to be speaking at SMX East, get your pitch in. When's the deadline? Does anybody know when the deadline is?
I think it's I can't remember. I think it's a couple weeks yet.
Okay. And Wassam, you got to be right back. Understand, we'll probably be hung up by the time you come back. So you have a great day, my man.
You too, buddy. Take care.
See ya. And so, yeah, I would say that if you want to go and speak at SMX, and you're watching the Hangout or you're participating in the Hangout, you know, hit up Kevin and myself. We've spoke a couple times now. I don't think we're old hands, but I think we kind of know what's going on. You know, maybe we can give you some feedback and help you pitch. So more speakers, the better, I say.
June 26th.
Okay, so you got a week, basically. What's that, next Friday? I think it's the 26th? Yeah, next Friday.
Yeah.
So hopefully you got your pitches in. You know, I would pitch a couple times if you can. You might get picked up for one. You might get picked up for all of them. You never know. But pitch. It's a lot of fun, and it's in New York City. Why not? It's a good place to go have fun. So anyways, with that, I hope you guys all have a great weekend. And yeah, if you have any questions, please, if you're watching the Hangout, if you have any questions, please put them in the Hangout, put them on YouTube. I do check those, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one. And stopping the Hangout takes a minute. So anyways, guys, I will be leaving. You guys have a great one. Talk later.
See you, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. I think we're still live, so yeah.
Yeah, it still looks like it's live.
No way to stop it.
Well, I think I was an admin at one time, but I'm not sure I still have the rights. I'm going to look here. I suppose if it...
I'll ping you. I was just gonna say, talk to you about a topic that we talked about way back, and all is good. You wanted to know what the outcome was.
Okay, hang on a second here. Let me see if I can. I don't think I have access to it anymore.
All right.
Why don't you ping me?
Yeah, I'll ping you.
Because if we hang up, it'll obviously end.
For sure. Bye, everyone.
Okay. See ya.